Okay, ready?
Okay.
No.
Hey.
God damn it.
It's
It's all right, boy.
It.
Yeah, the boy.
Hey, boy, that's all right.
Welcome, everybody, to the Harsch Review. My name is Sean, and with me is my brother Ryan.
Hey there.
Hey.
Hey.
We are a
49.
we're an entertainment review podcast. I like to talk a little bit about everything, movies, TV, even some games and books, trying to diversify a little bit. So yeah, if you're new, thanks for stopping by. Make sure you hit subscribe on your podcast player there. And check us out every week on Tuesdays. Now, let's get on with it.
Let's do it.
All right. So I just got back from doing some work in Montana. Montana. Have you been there before?
Never. It looks interesting. Please tell me more.
Oh, you sound so excited. Wow.
Hello. Yes.
Looks interesting. Please tell me more.
Do tell.
It was very flat and then big ass mountains. It was really cold. It was nice. I just kind of wanted to go up to every horse and be like, it's all right, boy.
Yeah.
It's
funny, like you've been playing that game we talked about, and then you go into the game for a minute. Like,
oh yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, especially when you're playing Red Dead, and then you head out to a place that's kind of Western-esque, lots of hunting and horses and big old dusters and boots. So it was
big old belt buckles.
Yeah, they got those. I went to several cowboy outfitter shops. You can get the whole getup. Kind of felt like at the general store.
Did you get the raccoon hat with like the raccoon head?
Didn't see any of those.
It's my favorite item so far in the game.
God, it's like ridiculous how big it is.
So big.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And,
nice.
I got to watch some movies and stuff when I was out there. It was kind of slow. Went up to Glacier, which is National Park. Very pretty, very cold, all covered in snow, and did some exploring stuff up there. There's like nobody there. You could like commit a murder and get away with it. Oh, I know. Give me your money. Yeah, I don't know. What about you? What's going on?
Not much. We've had a kind of a rough week down here in California.
Yeah, man, that's a big bummer. Nothing but Armageddon coming.
Tragedy, shooting, and then supposedly the biggest fire in California history. About total so far is about 6,000 homes, about 6,000 structures claimed. I think a dozen or so fatally injured. So,
yeah, the
pretty nuts.
Paradise up in Northern California got torched the most. SoCal lost about 100 structures, I think, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
it's been pretty bad.
Yeah, so yeah, it's happening. So I'm stocking up and getting ready for the apocalypse.
Yep, get your doomsday kit going.
Get all my canned goods.
Yeah, get your provisions.
Chili and sardines.
Get your pomade. Your snake oil, your cocaine gum.
Cocaine gum. Only in that game.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
How's that game been treating you? Still playing it?
Oh man, it's such a time sucker. I've been just, thinking about it sometimes, and then I get home and I walk the dog really quick and then jump on it.
Yeah.
Spent the last 3 days like fishing pretty much.
That's all you're doing?
Yeah, like there's a legendary fish option. So you have to get 13 of these special fish at different locations in the game. One of them is like a sturgeon. It was like 60 pounds, I guess. And almost like broke my hand just reeling it in.
Did you get it?
20 minutes. I got it, yeah.
Oh, nice. I haven't gotten one yet.
It's some of them have some risk involved. Like it might sound like you're fishing, but one of them, you go in the bayou and I was fishing and some alligator came up and ate me. So that was
that's
wonderful.
not good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great game. I mean, like we talked about, it's the universe is wide open. I know the impulse when you get a game is like just to jump in and beat it right away, but this game, like, it moves kind of slow. But you really, whoever plays it just kind of needs to enjoy every second of it because there's a lot to see, a lot to do. After our conversation, I was like, oh, there's a mode where you can just have, you can just ride your horse without, what is cinematic mode. So you just kind of put your waypoint and you just let it go. Right.
Yeah. It's kind of therapeutic just to sit there and listen to the music.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple of times though, I like got up and like did something and then I came back and I had like run into a side of a train or something. So
nice.
Yeah. I was like, I have to keep a better eye on this when I set it like that, but it is a fun game. There's like a lot of stuff online as terms of like glitches being found that might get patched, but there's supposedly a serial killer in the game. There's a vampire in the game. A lot of stuff. You could tell they put a lot of time into this.
Wow. Yeah, I was watching the NFHC podcast. They do a Twitch stream where you stream video games. Matt over there was doing it. So when I was out in Montana, I was watching him, play Red Dead. And it was pretty funny just because he's, complaining and bitching about all kinds of stuff the whole time, but he's also kind of ruthless where, robs somebody and then just like blows his head off. And it's just like, doesn't play the game conventionally. It's pretty, right. It was fun. So if you guys watch Twitch, mode. If you like Twitch, go over to NFHC podcast at Twitch.
Well, the funny is you can like rob. I mean, the game gives you a lot of, so it's kind of like a choose your own adventure in a video game. I mean, everything you do determines your outcome, obviously. You could play as a ruthless killer or a pretty nice guy who lets the fish go back in the water. But you choose to be a ruthless killer, there's like all these kind of masks you can buy.
Oh, yeah. They're creepy looking. They're like this potato sack over your head.
Right. There's like an executioner's hood. You can get like a skull mask. Basically just look like a freaking psycho if you're robbing a bank. So
there's even like some pig mask you can get on your face.
Yeah.
That's pretty gross.
Haven't run into the clan yet, but can't wait to set that camp afire.
I know. And you actually get like positive honor for killing the clansmen.
Right. I'll probably leave out some predator bait and have a bear come get them all.
Stupid.
Yeah, good stuff. What about you? You've been logging a lot of hours there? Or?
I mean, I didn't play for a week. I'm like somewhere in chapter 3. I'm getting along. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been spending time kind of exploring and doing a lot of hunting. Because when you go after legendary animals and you can get like trinkets and stuff, which give you like stat boosts. You also get to make some sick furs, so it's like an outfit. Looks like Jeremiah Johnson that I'm working towards. So that's
my video game beard is longer than my normal beard. Which is kind of cool. Yeah.
What's your look? What look are you going for?
I'm going for Jeremiah Johnson. I'm doing scruffy man.
There's a whole Jeremiah Johnson outfit that you can like, if you get the right furs, you can totally look like a shitbag.
Well, I killed a white-tailed deer or something, and I straight away went and got some boots made. So it's like
there you go.
Hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want like the buffalo head. You could,
I've got that one.
The raccoon head. I'm just basically gonna outfit myself in fur, grow my beard long, but I'm still pomading my hair. So
you're not total dirtbag.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it evolves because it definitely is a slow game and it has like the pace of the West, where it's not a fast-paced action game. But I've really enjoyed the story so far. So what's actually kind of brought me back is the story elements of it, which, after playing the first one, which I put probably 80 hours into the first game. I'm really curious to see how the story develops and then like what happens once you beat the story, like with the game. Right. I know they're going to have like an online version coming out soon where you have a different character and you're like in an online world. That was a lot of fun last time I played that. So I'm curious to see how it develops, but it's rare when games come by that have so much depth and exploration, but really good storytelling and excellent character development. Yeah, and that's where, I mean, where else do you develop like empathy and like feeling towards a character, like as opposed to this type of game? You know, you don't really get enough time in a movie to like truly like care. And it's crazy how like a video game is pretty successful at doing that.
Yeah.
You can just go to the Reddit on Red Dead and just everybody loves the main character, and you know they're doing fan art, they're doing all kinds of stuff. It's very well written.
It's very familiar too. I mean, you know, like I said last week, with the first 10 minutes reminded me of Hateful Eight, but then some of the characters remind me of characters from Deadwood, Clint Eastwood westerns, obviously. Just a lot of stuff in there that harkens back to cinema throughout the ages for westerns.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So other than Red Dead, what have you been watching?
Well, you know, a lot of stuff going on. Next, I thought it was going to be Narcos this weekend. So I was all primed up when I got home on Friday to be like, yeah,
season 4?
Yeah, but I looked it up. It's like, oh yeah, it doesn't start till next Friday. So
okay.
Been watching stuff. One thing I did watch, I noticed was on Netflix, is a new one called Film Worker. It's a documentary.
Okay.
So it's about this guy. He started out as, his name's Leon Vitali, I think his name is. He started out as like a Shakespearean actor in England, and then acted in a Kubrick film, and then gave everything up basically to work with Kubrick for the rest of Kubrick's life. So from the movie Barry Lyndon, which came after Clockwork Orange, all the way up to Eyes Wide Shut. Really fascinating. Like, I obviously love Kubrick, so this really got my attention. But then just to see the amount of work this guy did, it was crazy. Like, just Kubrick came off as like really more like, not like a sadist, but just, you know, this total genius, you know, kind of, you know, shielded his feelings from a lot of people, didn't really care about, you know, anyone else, but really included everybody in the film, made everybody feel special. So this kind of like duality, but this guy ended up being like, he was an acting coach for Danny Torrance on The Shining. So they showed like grown up Danny Torrance. He was like a casting director. He ended up like working on all the art for like the international releases. He pieced together Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, the way the film portrays, the documentary portrays it, is it was like a 24/7 job where he was always on call, always working for this guy. But still, like, you know, he looks terrible. Like, honestly, like he was, you know, not a bad looking guy in the 70s, but he has not aged well. And it's obviously made through the film as to why. But just to, you know, he had a love for art, a love for film and creation, and he doesn't really regret any of it. Mm-hmm. Very interesting if you're into movies, just to see what a lot of these behind the scenes guys do. And they, you know, they get that scroll credit at the end that nobody reads, but it's like, these guys do a lot, like behind the scenes, hours and hours a day. So I think this documentary really champions that, and you get to see some intimate looks at a director that is really legendary. So,
nice. I'll have to check that out. So it's this documentary on it?
Yeah, it's called Film Worker.
Film Worker, Netflix.
Yeah. So that's a good one. Yeah, another doc I watched. I told you a few weeks ago about the Bob Marley documentary. That was on Netflix about like when someone tried to kill him. That's a ongoing series that Netflix is doing every month about a different musical artist, focusing on a specific incident in their life. The new one is called Tricky Dick and the Man in Black.
Yeah, I saw that on Netflix, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, so if who's Tricky Dick, Sean?
Nixon.
Right, and the Man in Black would be?
Johnny Cash.
Right, so this took place in, you know, I believe 1970. Johnny Cash is great. I mean, it's great to see all this like archival footage of him and then all these people that knew him. So it kind of gives like a quick little backstory on him, but then it focuses on Richard Nixon more or less in a political move trying to get voters, and in the South had Johnny Cash come to the White House and sing. Do some songs. And Johnny Cash, like at this time, they really made it clear that there were in the late 60s, early 70s, Vietnam War was going on. There was hawks and doves. Doves were the people who wanted peace. Hawks were the people that wanted war. Nixon was like dropping bombs in Cambodia, behind people's backs, still sending troops over. So there was a lot of wondering whether or not Johnny Cash would show up and like dismay the president or do something uncouth, in terms of the time. But
what was that again? Uncouth?
Uncouth.
I haven't know that word.
Yeah, look it up. So it was kind of like he had requested a couple songs that Johnny Cash play. Cash refused. He didn't refuse, but he just didn't play him. But he said something really cool, like I'm a dove with claws. I want peace and I love my country and everything, but I want what's best for everybody because these people protesting, they're your next generation and they're going to be leading the country one day. So really cool to kind of see that. Wasn't really sure about that. I did know about Nixon and Elvis and how Elvis wanted a DEA badge, but the irony was he was heavily medicated on drugs. Didn't know about Cash and Nixon. So this is pretty cool. It's only an hour. It goes by pretty quick. But if you're a fan of Nixon or you're a fan of Johnny Cash, it's a good way to spend an hour.
Yeah, I wonder if, 50 years from now, you're going to have a Kanye Trump documentary.
Oh, yeah. Or probably a movie.
Oh, geez. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's cool.
What's funny, a lot of this stuff we're seeing now in politics is very cinematic.
Oh, yeah.
Very not just like television worthy, but
the voting just happened last week, so hopefully everybody got out there and voted, and that shit show's over with for now. So
yeah,
we'll see the blue wave.
Yeah. So got that one. Watching Daredevil. I know we talked about that. I'm on episode 8. Did you finish it, Sean?
I did.
Okay. So, I know you mentioned last time there was a certain extended shot in episode 4.
Yeah. The prison.
That was great. So great. This show's really good in terms of, I think it's a really good superhero show, period. But it's also very psychological, great suspense. Really pulls you in with those long shots, but the fight scenes, man, are amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of hands. It reminds me of that scene particularly reminded me of The Raid. Just in terms of, kind of the extended shot and the hands-on martial arts stuff. Pretty cool. But then we talked about D'Onofrio and how cool he is too. So, it's a really good series. I don't know I'm not near the end of season 3 yet. I'm almost there, but not sure if there's going to be a season 4. I hope so, but
I believe so. Where did you leave off at? What's going on?
Daredevil, basically we have the 2 Daredevils. So, we have this other FBI guy, got the suit from Kingpin, and then Murdoch visited the good FBI guy, let him know that, Wilson Fisk is playing you guys, basically. So that's pretty much where I left off. It seems like stuff's coming apart for Murdoch. He gets beat up a lot in this season. He just gets put through the ringer,
Sure.
You don't really see him in his suit that much. So it's kind of he says, Matt, that character's kind of dead. I'm just trying to make things right. But that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of, I think what's cool about it, is it's kind of a slow pace. They jump around. They don't mix things up too much. But there's also a little bit of a, just the direction that it went was not quite what I expected many times. So that's what I kind of appreciate the most about it. And then overall, I would agree that I think a lot of the fighting is good, and some of it's a little cheesy, or you could tell the actors are pulling their punches and all that kind of stuff. So it does change a little bit from time to time. What's cool about Kingpin is the way that he is in this one is a lot closer to how he was in the comics. And it's weird seeing Vince in other movies because he's a whole different vibe going on with him. Doesn't even talk the same. I'm just here about Vanessa. You know,
it's all about Vanessa.
I know, like so sick of hearing about her.
Yet. Yeah,
I know. Was Vanessa safe?
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just weird. You know, weird. Like it kind of reminds me a little bit of what's the Dark Knight, the third one?
Oh, Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of that one, and just like the structure of how season 3 is kind of going.
The build up and everything.
Yeah, very similar. But it goes in a lot of directions I didn't anticipate. So that's what I really kind of liked about it, is it kind of kept me engaged because it wasn't as I thought. The other ones were pretty straightforward. You kind of could tell where they were going and how it was going to develop, but this one was definitely a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're going to come back for a season 4. I mean, their story's not finished. You know, there's still a lot to be told with the characters that they have on this one.
Yeah, it just seems like Netflix has been axing a lot of these other shows, people in this universe. So it's cool that, I mean, this is the best of the lot. So I'm hoping they don't cut it, you know?
Yeah, I don't think they would. I mean, the Marvel stuff's got strong pull. So I'm pretty confident this one's going to be all right. People would freak out though if they did.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool. Trying to finish it up in the next couple of days. We have a new Coen Brothers series coming up next weekend. Western, actually. So
yeah,
can't get out of that world.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. And like I said before, Narcos. So trying to wrap this one up. Another one I'm trying to wrap up is actually rewatching it. A series I recommend to you, Sean. It's called Patriot. It's on Amazon. The first season came out like 3 years ago, and they just came out with a season 2. So I think it's been a couple years since I've seen season 1. Going back and rewatching it now, I was very impressed when I first saw it. It's a dark comedy. It's a kind of a spy tale with a lot of unconventional twists. Reminds me a little bit of Wes Anderson, not so much in like the art direction, but more like in the characters, I guess, and the quirkiness and the humor, which I think is why I like it so much. But it's got some people in it you might know. Locke is in there. Clarence Bodiger's in there playing a dick again. Like,
amen.
Total prick. Yeah, it's really cool. I really like it. I recommend it to you because I want to start season 2 when I'm done rewatching season 1.
So what era does it take place?
It's modern day. So it centers on Locke is whatever his name is, Terry O'Quinn.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Locke.
John Locke.
His son, he works for the CIA. His son also works for the CIA. And then he has another son who's a congressman who like helps out. So the main son, he has to basically, they're trying to foil this plot going on in Iran. But he has to in order to get to these people, he has to take up a company job in Milwaukee. So, it sounds weird, but it's like this guy, the main spy, is like, he's kind of depressed. He's got like a lot going on, botches up a lot of stuff. And then it's like how he deals with it. It's really kind of cool. I mean, it's got some really dark moments, very funny moments, a great soundtrack. Yeah, I love it. It's a really good show.
I'll be checking that out for sure.
It's very different. That's kind of what I like about it. I do like the spy genre when it's done right and it's not too like boring. This one's definitely very, very unusual, but not too out there, but it's very engaging nonetheless.
Yeah. Patriot. Okay.
Patriot. Yeah. Check it out. Finally, and I know you saw this one too, getting some new original movies from Netflix. This one's called Outlaw King.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about that in a second.
Yeah. So I'll save that one for you. So you could end yours with that one, right?
Yeah. We'll spend some time on that one. I think it was definitely worth talking about a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What have you been watching?
So I've watched a handful of different things. Obviously coming off of Red Dead. I went right away to Westerns on Netflix, and fired up Unforgiven.
William Money.
Yeah.
Killer of women and children.
So, Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a good movie.
You don't like it?
Well, it's I don't know. I mean, I kind of remember watching it, just kind of going, yeah, I know, but that was in like what, 92, 94?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple plot, kind of stupid, like what brings him back out of retirement. And he's got the younglings, so like they do a good job establishing the characters and all that kind of stuff. And then some dumbass kid comes by and that's what, brings him out of retirement. Like, oh, they cut up her face and her eyes and all this stuff. He's like, I need the money. So he goes ahead and does it. So I get it. And the whole town with that Gene Hackman runs, like I get it. They had that whole thing going on. And they want to, avenge this girl, kill the two guys and call it a day.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think that outside of that, I mean, it's nice to see him kind of like struggling and not really being a good hitman or anything like that. And then eventually he like drinks his booze and he's like, let's go kill some fuckers,
It's like spinach. Yeah.
Yeah. It was right. It's like Popeye.
Basically. Yeah. There's that scene near the end where he's just sitting there like wasted. Like his hat's all pulled low, and there's a moment where he's like, "All right, let's start killing people."
I know.
I've had about 10 of these.
Well, he had some good quotes in that one, but
he's like, "I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna kill your dog, kill your family, burn your house down." Like he just like kept going with everything he was going to do to these people. How much he just hated this stupid town.
I know, like you'd be William Money out of Missouri. Killer of women and children? That's right. I've killed women and children. I've killed just about everything that walks or crawled at one time or another, and I'm here to kill you, Little Bill, for what you did to Ned.
What about English Bob? They didn't really do him anything good.
No, that poor dude. He's like totally balling.
That's Dumbledore.
English Bob?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Richard Harris. Yeah.
Which Dumbledore, the first or second?
That'd be the first one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one. That's where I recognize him from. He got beat pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Hackman character was good about this movie. Kind of really evil,
Yeah, he's a little over the top. I didn't really get what his deal was. Like, why was he so? I didn't get it. I was like, what? Okay, yeah, we no guns in this town, no this, no that. Like, they didn't really establish him too much other than just kind of being like a tyrant and a prick. So one side, like, I can kind of like respect how hard he is, but on the other side, you just kind of go like, I don't really know what your motivation is.
Well, they had an opportunity to do that. I don't think they did. They made him kind of one dimensional. They could have shown it like, a little bit why he's such a dick, but they really just made him out to be a dick. So
sure,
like a good villain, but it's nice too when the villains are fleshed out a little bit more in these kind of movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But so I watched that one, and then I went and watched Slow West, which we talked about maybe like 6-8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a slow movie. It's beautiful as how it's shot.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. It's kind of like a sad story in a sense. Not a whole lot going on. Very simple. It seems like it's one of those made for Netflix type of movies.
Right.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, I heard it had like a limited release, very indie. So, yeah, it was good. I mean, nothing really to write home about. I think one of probably the best modern Western is the Jesse James movie.
The Assassination of Jesse James?
Yeah, I mean, I keep going back to that movie. It's so good. And it's like, it stands good as a Western, but also like a modern parallel to like celebrity worship and a lot going on in that movie that's, hard not to like.
Yeah, it's probably, I was going to ask you, like, what are your favorite westerns. Now that we're talking about westerns, thanks Red Dead.
Yeah.
And that is one that I would agree. For me, a western has to feel like brutal and authentic.
Yeah.
It needs to, capture the visuals of it. The old Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, I think, are a little dramatized. So, I mean, those obviously have a place in cinema history, but they don't feel like an authentic portrayal of the West. That's a little bit more of like a comic book-esque type of West.
Yeah.
So I would say
those are different, in terms of like they were made by an Italian director, filmed in Spain. They had a lot of the scores are great. They had a lot of like overdubbing though, because the actors were all spoke different languages. So
sure,
it came off at times as a little cartoonish. I think my favorite of the bunch is Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go back before that, like a lot of them were just kind of laughable, like the John Wayne stuff. It's just really
no, those are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just I can't even watch those. I mean, people hold them up as classics. I think I saw a couple of them when I did film classes in college, but they didn't really strike me as anything I'd want to watch again.
So what other well, before we get off of Jesse James, other elements I like about that is hygiene. I think is one of the things, like the just seeing like how people wear their long johns and how vulnerable they are. There's a part where Casey Affleck's character has got that little box full of like his trinkets, and that's all he has. And how cold and just miserable people are most of the time. It does a good job of kind of capturing that.
Like taking a bath is like a huge luxury.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then even how they kind of captured the killing of Jesse James, I thought was in doing some research, it was pretty authentic.
Yeah.
And kind of tragic in a lot of ways.
Totally.
But that's a great movie. It's just it's a character study, so it's going to be really slow. It's not a fast shoot 'em up type of Western at all.
But just seeing like last time I saw it, like how many great actors are in it. You got Jeremy
absolutely.
Renner, Sam Shepard, you got Sam Rockwell, just a ton of
Brad Pitt,
like Mark, right? Of course,
Casey Affleck.
Casey's really good in it too, I think.
Yeah.
Like he's just like this very like desperate character, but he's so good. Like I don't know what it is, but he's probably to me a better actor than Ben.
I would say that he plays characters that are more authentic. Ben Affleck's not a great actor in my opinion, but he's had some good roles.
Yeah.
But I would say that it's more about like the story that he's in, compared to like his contribution to a character.
Right.
I don't know. I can't think of everything I think he's really awesome in.
Nah. Yeah, but a couple others I like. I already mentioned Hateful Eight. I think that's a good one. There's another one. It's not really like a true Western, but it's The Proposition. Which takes place in Australia. It's with Guy Pearce and Ray Winstone. He played Beowulf, and he was in Departed.
It was the Indiana Jones Crystal Skull.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But it's basically like it's a Western, but it takes place in Australia. So it has like that whole Western feel. Obviously, the locales are the same. But just kind of like you said, everybody's really dirty. One thing about the movie is like there's flies freaking everywhere. Like the whole movie, it's just like flies all over the place. It's just flat, dusty, dirty. You can really feel it in this movie. It's a good movie too. I'd definitely recommend you check it out if you haven't seen it. Guy Pearce is great in it. It tells a little bit about like the Aboriginals in Australia and how they were treated. Parallels kind of, what our situation was with the Native Americans. It's a really good movie.
Yeah. I have to look into that.
The Proposition.
The Proposition.
Yes. I don't know. Deadwood.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite shows for sure.
Yeah. That character, Swearingen, you can't really get better than that.
Yeah, speaking of Deadwood, the movie's kicked off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they started filming the movie for that. It was almost everybody's back. So
Okay.
they're kind of, it's kind of like going back to HBO kind of started either way, and their description is the undeniable characters of the series are reunited after 10 years to celebrate South Dakota's statehood. Formal rivalries are reignited, alliances are tested, and old wounds are reopened, as all are left to navigate the inevitable changes that modernity and time have wrought.
Okay.
And so right now, the confirmed list, Alma Ellsworth, Trixie, Soul Star, Martha Bullock, Charlie Utter, Doc Cochran, Calamity Jane, E.B. Farnham, Joni Stubbs, George Hurst, and Jade Pettyjohn, as well as the sheriff and Ian Swearingen, and what's the sheriff's name?
Guy with the big hat.
Yeah, the main
Yeah, I know who
actor.
you're talking about.
The hell's his name?
Yeah, Timothy Oliphant.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his name on the show, but yeah. All right.
So yeah, that one's going on the way. Yeah, not
So
bad.
is that theatrical or is that straight to HBO or?
It's probably going to go straight to HBO. It hasn't really quite said. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a really good genre. It's just like you said though. I mean, there's a lot of bad ones in there too.
Sure.
It's just like anything we've talked about with the cop shows. Like you'll have 10 good cop movies, you'll have 20 really shitty ones. So, same with this Western genre. You could do a lot with it, but you have to do it right.
Yeah. I mean, some of the ones I'm partial to. I'm a big fan of 310 to Yuma, the newest one.
I love that one.
Yeah, and that one's really cool, especially because of it's got a good pace to it, and it's got a good story, but Christian Bale does a great job, playing the American, and, Russell Crowe's pretty tolerable in that one.
Yeah.
So I like that one. And I also like True Grit with, the dude.
Yeah. The dude. Rooster Cogburn. Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, he's such a grumpy bastard in that show.
Isn't he? Yeah. It's a good movie.
So I really like that one. But Westerns are great. I've always been a huge fan of them. That's why something like Red Dead just resonates with me. Deadwood is incredible. If anybody's not watched that, you got to watch it. Like it's kind of like your rite of passage if you enjoy any form of entertainment, in my opinion.
Yeah. The way it's written too, I read some article on it, like for English majors, this would resound more, but it's written in iambic pentameter, which is like a way, kind of like Shakespeare wrote, where like you stress certain syllables. So it's written almost like poetically, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's got like the screenplay, but it's like a lot of attention goes into the dialogue and the way things are said, and just kind of like the meter, I guess you could say. Which makes it even more cool. I mean, it's already cool on the surface, but just the little details, they get it right on that show.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been to Nevada City.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever been there. Nevada City, it's in I think Nevada. I'm sorry, Virginia City. What the hell's it called? Now you got me.
Yeah, Virginia City
in Nevada, right?
Or Tombstone?
No, it's in Nevada. And I'm pretty sure it's called Virginia
Nevada,
City.
Or Carson City?
No, let me see. Let me check this
city.
out. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, Virginia City, Nevada.
Okay.
And it's a really cool old Western town. I have a bunch of photos from there. It was developed in 1859, and it's still standing. And there's a lot of history there. It still has like the wood plank sidewalks and stuff. There's mines in there that were abandoned in 1878. The population at its, right now, is about, 855. So it's still kind of like a happening little place that's got the downtown going on.
Does it have like the sign outside? It says 855 and it's been crossed out a couple times.
Oh, it keeps going down.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. There's an old church. I mean, I went by an old saloon. That's kind of got something in there. It's the birthplace of Mark Twain.
Oh,
and so he's got his. Are
you sure?
They consider it the birthplace of the pen name Mark Twain, February 1863.
Okay.
And he lived in Virginia City and wrote for the Enterprise, 1862, 1864.
Yes, that's when he started using that name.
Yes. Not necessarily the birthplace of Samuel Clemens, just for clarity. And so that's where he kind of started using, getting there. But anyways, there's a lot of cool history of it. So if anybody's ever near there, it's worth checking out because it kind of reminds you of Deadwood, where you still got like the dumpy dirt road and then the wood plank sidewalks. I think it's the only town left that actually has those, the original ones in America. But I haven't been up to Deadwood or any of those places,
We would be remiss if we didn't mention Tombstone. It's another one. What do you think about that one?
I haven't seen Tombstone in a while. I know it's got like all the iconic characters and all that kind of stuff.
That's what it is about it. It's not like the best movie. I mean, I think I rewatched it a couple years ago. Yeah. I mean, but it's just like, hey, look at that guy. I know Billy Bob is in it, and he gets the shit beat out of him with a glove or whatever. That's a good scene.
And we're looking at like what Kurt Russell,
Sam Elliott,
Val Kilmer,
Bill Paxton, Val Kilmer, Michael, what's his name? He was in a bunch of James Cameron movies. But yeah, Michael Biehn. Yeah. Played Johnny Ringo. But it's like OK Corral, so it's kind of like that, and that's a story that's been told 100 times. But a lot of that stuff's shrouded in myth too. It's like you never know what really went down because 100 people have their own spin on it. So
it's a cool time in American history, especially because all those things came out of it. But a lot of it is really dramatized as well. So when you see shows like that where they have like all these iconic characters and all that kind of stuff, the part of me just kind of goes like, all right, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, right. It wasn't like that every day.
No, not at all.
They make it like super exciting, but a lot of it, like you said earlier, was like just drudgery and like shitty hygiene and not a lot of material possessions. So just kind of like valuing what you had.
Sure. I like the simplicity of the times, Yeah. I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah. No, I like it too. Got to get back to that, man.
I know. Gotta get back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I would say outside of, Unforgiven, Daredevil, definitely, we talked about earlier. I finished that one up, which I'm really happy I got done. And I also finished watching season 4 of Better Call Saul.
Oh, okay. I think I got 2 more left.
Yeah, it's great.
Isn't it good? Yeah.
I like how they changed directions on that one and just kind of really, I wouldn't say milked it, but they're definitely building up some kind of momentum to it. And so you finally, I mean, he's been casually using like the term Saul Goodman, throughout as he lost his lawyer license at some point and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But you're waiting for it all to kind of crash and burn and then for this guy to kind of flip. And so it is a little interesting and very similar to Breaking Bad in a lot of ways, as far as like the path the character takes, where the good guy becomes, the villain. But here it's not necessarily the same where he becomes a villain. It's like he almost develops an alter ego. But
out of necessity,
Yeah, I know a lot of people that watch Breaking Bad don't like it. And I think
like Better Call Saul.
Yeah, and I think it's just I don't think there's a lot of objective Breaking Bad fans because a lot of them are like, dude, it's the best thing ever. And it's like, it's great. But there's also a lot of trashy, poor episodes.
A lot of fans of The Wire. I don't know if you know anybody like that. But.
No. Just Kubrick fans. Like well, it's not everything isn't gold. And there is definitely some fluff in there. And there's a lot of things that you just kind of have to like believe. The way they use time a lot of times is to their convenience, but overall it's a cool story. People need to remember that when it was fresh, when it was brand new, nothing was being done like that. Acting at that level is kind of rare for, syndicated TV.
Right.
It was, the way that it was shot, the sound editing and the content was very unique. And so now that we've been exposed to so many things, I think when you go back and look at something like Breaking Bad, you're not going to be as, it's going to be harder to appreciate it. I think you have to just keep perspective.
Yeah. Interesting too that we have this main actor who was in Malcolm in the Middle, and he was just kind of this goofball on that show, and then it's like, oh, this guy can actually act his ass off. I think that was kind of neat to see that too. I think that's what grabbed a lot of people who knew him from that show, and then see like these other dimensions on this other show. Mm-hmm. Just shows that certain actors have some great range and others don't.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, so that would be kind of a nice segue to the Breaking Bad movie. We got some news about this week, Sean.
Oh, we do, huh?
Yeah, did you hear about that?
I did. I did.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about it.
Do tell, sir.
Do tell.
There was some mutterings, I guess you could say, about some project that Vince Gilligan was attached to, directing, writing it. They were calling it something else, and no one was really sure, and there was a lot of speculation. And then now, however, we have a Breaking Bad film is in the works right now. It's reportedly a sequel to the original series, and we're going to see Jesse Pinkman basically or immediately after what happens in the very final episode of Breaking Bad.
When he's driving away in his car, right?
Yeah, So, basically he escapes from, all that stuff going down. We'll be filming this fall. So I guess now, I don't know what that means. It's a pretty new article. Little is known about the movie previously, but it's being made, and Gilligan, penned the screenplay, probably directing it. Jesse stars in the movie, and it's shown that the film will focus on, quote, the escape of a kidnapped man and his quest for freedom. And there's also speculation that it might just be a made-for-television movie, not theatrically released. I honestly, as big as Breaking Bad was, I don't think a movie like this would do that well in the theater. Maybe
I don't think so.
Maybe around Oscar time, but yeah. But there's no confirmation of how or where it will be released.
How it's going to be distributed, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. It'd be interesting. I mean, Pinkman, he was ironically, he was the moral center of that series. It's just kind of hard for me to picture him doing a solo thing because he worked best with the Walter White character. I mean, they just kind of worked well off each other. They acted as foils for each other in a lot of ways, but they were the chemistry was good for those two characters. It's just kind of hard for me to see him by himself,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know. So, and I don't know which direction the film would go in or whatever, but yeah, it's interesting to see that they're going to make a movie of it.
Yeah, it's, I think the term movie is a little watered down. It's almost just like is it going to be an extended episode, or are they really going to treat it like a movie, which takes place over a longer period of time and has a different pace? Because there is a big difference. I don't know. When I saw him in The Path, which is on Hulu.
Okay.
Have you ever watched any of that?
I think I watched one of them. I didn't know what was really going on, but I guess I didn't really give it a shot.
Yeah, I saw the first season. It's the whole story is he converts to a controversial. He goes to basically he's in a cult. He's with his wife, and they join a cult for whatever reason. I can't remember the catalyst of what pushed him there, but he's the lead, and he does a good job in it. But he's still kind of he's one of those actors that he is Jesse Pinkman. It's that's his persona. That's kind of how he acts.
But let's not forget, Sean, that he was Weird Al Yankovic in an early biopic of Weird Al.
I don't know
this.
No.
Yeah, I guess it was a made for VH1 movie a little while ago about Weird Al, and he was Weird Al.
Okay, well there we go. Yeah. He's got some range,
right? Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so what I'm saying though is that he is one of those actors. He's kind of like a like a Bruce Willis or something like that, where you see the same guy in every movie. It's just the writing and what you're making him say depends on if he's doing a great job or not. So I don't know. I think that they could release that on Netflix. They could easily put that up just straight to iTunes. There's a lot of ways they can release that thing, but I don't think it should come out of the theater. I don't think so at all. I think it's been too long.
I think modern times now, it just seems like I'm watching more movies that are of higher quality at home than what I'm seeing in the movies. Like I was hitting the movies up pretty hard a couple months ago. Haven't really been back. I mean, it's just nothing really grabbing me. Best stuff I'm seeing right now is on, Netflix or, some of these networks putting out films that they're obviously spend a lot of money on. So
yeah, like for example, I want to see Bohemian Rhapsody. I wanted to see A Star Is Born. But I also don't necessarily feel like I need to go to the movies to see it. I mean, we could do it just to talk about it on this show if we want to, pump the numbers or something like that with something more relevant. But
I was doing some research.
Yeah,
trying to get a tax write-off.
Yeah, right. But my point is that for me, the movies need to be more of like an event. And when a movie, unless it's like a social or a date night or something along those lines, like just going to the movies to see the movies, they are having a hard time competing with like what is available just to watch at home.
Sure.
The downside is you also become a hermit and don't leave, which I'm okay with. But it's good to also kind of get out there because seeing it on a big screen with other people, I think the biggest benefit of going to the movies is you're forced to not be like on your phone and you gotta pay attention, where that's way harder to do at home. So there's some benefits to that where you're probably going to be a little bit more captivated than you would watching at your house. But if you're disciplined and you pay attention to it, you're okay.
Yeah, I mean, certain things for me, like you said, are a given. I was definitely like Blade Runner, have to see it in the theater. Any Star Wars, any Quentin Tarantino, it's just kind of been a tradition for me ever since Pulp Fiction. Got to see it in the theater.
Or PTA.
PTA. Those are definitely like film experiences. But even with the Coens, it's like not everything Coens I go see. I don't know what it is. But,
after we got burned on Hail Caesar.
Yeah. Well, let's hope the Western next weekend won't be that bad. I mean, hopefully it'll win me back because all I got going for me now is the Fargo series.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So nice. Yeah. I mean, they could put it on. They could put it on Disney Plus. That's what their new subscription model's called.
Okay.
No, just kidding.
What's that all about?
I don't know. No, yeah, Disney announced that they're calling their whole thing Disney Plus. Their Netflix
like an actual plus next to it, or like
it just says like the Disney logo with a plus.
Oh, okay. Plus what?
That's just what's called plus.
Okay.
Like, bonus. I don't know.
I'm gonna put that in the show notes.
Yeah. They're gonna pull everything from like Netflix and all the different places, and they're shoring up all the rights to older things that they lost some of their distribution rights for.
Like Song of the South.
Yeah, right. No.
Like all the racist cartoons.
But when they launch in 2019, they're gonna have the original Marvel series that's based off of Loki. They're going to have an original Star Wars series that is including a prequel to Rogue One about the character known as Cassian Andor, who is played by Diego Luna. High School Musical reboots, yay. New season of Star Wars Clone Wars animated series based off of Monsters, Inc., exclusive movies, and The Mandalorian from Jon Favreau. So they're going to be launching with a bunch of stuff. So it's not going to be till late 2019. Don't know the price or any of that kind of stuff, but I don't see them putting a Breaking Bad movie out on their service. But yeah, I had that written down there.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, so we talked about the Deadwood movie. We talked about a Breaking Bad movie. Walking Dead's also doing a movie. Did you hear?
A show I haven't watched in a while.
I know I haven't watched, but Andrew,
I like the comic book. Like the comic book's good. It's done in black and white, so it's like very stark. That I like. It's just the show. Like it's just kind of pulled me in at times, then like spit me back out, and it's just like fuck this. Like it's just
kind
of exhausting. kind of exhausting, that show.
So it is. I think you almost kind of feel like they're milking you, like they don't really know where they're going with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's just because you have too many throwaway episodes. We're like, okay, these characters aren't new. You can't keep developing these people without pushing the plot along. Get me excited about next week. That's what Breaking Bad did great. Is they ended great and they started strong every episode. It kept you going. So it's almost
you got to do that cliffhanger thing.
You a little or just something that just kind of says, here's what's coming up. So they basically said there's more story to be told, and this is regarding Rick Grimes' character. So they're going to be doing like 3 different movies with him. And they're going to be like proper movies, not like 3-hour, 2-hour episodes of Walking Dead. And, Gimbel, the, producer of it, whatever, the content chief, he says the story will go on in films. Right now we're working on 3, but there's flexibility in that. Over the next several years, we're going to be doing specials. New series are quite a possibility. High quality digital content, and then some content that defies description at the moment. We're going to dig into the past, the old characters. We're going to introduce new characters, new situations. So I don't know what the hell that means. But
pretty general.
I know, but just to kind of let everybody know, regardless of how you feel about Walking Dead, it is like the most successful TV show ever. It's made more money. It's got more viewers ever. It is huge. So
has a show that comes after it that talks about the show.
Yes, and so
it's got another spin-off show. So
just to give people perspective, because it is the biggest series on all of television, is the average rating per episode 21.5 million viewers.
Jeez,
just to give you some perspective. So
bigger than MASH.
Yeah, I mean it rivals like
Cheers.
It's the Super Bowl and stuff, which can get 30s to 40s, and that's just all America, signing up.
Yeah.
So they're doing their movie too. So this might be a new trend we're starting to see.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, AMC is a good network, so it's like Breaking Bad, you have Walking Dead. I mean, those are 2 good, strong ones.
Sure.
So I trust it'll be good. It sounds to me though the opposite of what you said. Like it will be a proper movie, because sometimes these things do seem like they seem like the Simpsons movie, where it's just like a couple episodes all kind of packed together, and then you call it a movie.
That's what I liked about South Park movie was pretty good.
Right,
they did a great job with that.
They took it in a whole other direction.
Come on, guy.
Come on, Kenny.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, guy.
Speaking of South Park, do you watch the last episode with Manbearpig?
Yeah, man.
Oh, how good was that?
So good. I mean, and then they also, I mean, those guys are so smart, because I mean, they work in Red Dead and they work in school shootings, and then the Al Gore thing in the same episode.
Yeah,
they just seem. I mean, it's just so intelligent and so like socially relevant.
Well, they brought Satan back. And then they said something like, "Oh, I've got people in Horseshoe Ranch dependent on me." And he's like,
"Right, you're playing
Red Dead Redemption." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "So good, am I right?"
Yeah, right. I gotta rob this bank in Valentine.
Yeah.
There's a scene where the cop comes home.
I was just gonna say that. Yes.
Yeah, his wife changed it. Like his wife went and did all this stuff without him doing it. So he gets up.
That's it. I'm leaving. I'm starting over.
Yeah, puts his hat and his coat on, and then sits back down. He's like, "I want to start the whole game again. You gotta go through the winter scene all over again.
I have no choice." Yeah,
and the cop in that show is reminds me of David Caruso. With the orange hair,
yeah, he's like, "Well, my job's here done. I'm gonna go home and play Red Dead for 18 hours."
Right.
It's pretty funny.
That's great.
All right, so let's move on and talk a little bit about the Outlaw King.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you mentioned this earlier, but I kind of figured we would spend a little bit more time on it, and that's just because this is, if you guys haven't seen it, and I mean, it's a historical movie, so I'm not going to be I'll be careful on spoilers, but I don't really think you can really drop a bomb on history.
No.
But it's just to kind of set this up, is that it's came out November 9th, Netflix. They've been advertising this one for a while. Stars Chris Pine. He's kind of the only face I really recognized in it. They probably put all their money into him. Doesn't matter. He did a great job in it.
He did.
And it kind of starts off with they mention William Wallace a lot, which obviously was best known from Mel Gibson and Braveheart, who took lots of liberties. They're talking about, William Wallace, he ran off into the woods, and I'm like, didn't he lose his head?
He was like disemboweled or something.
I don't know. Well, he was. So, but if you watch Braveheart before this, which if you haven't seen Outlaw King and you like medieval shows and you like Braveheart, it might be worth watching because the events prior to Braveheart like happened right before this movie kind of starts.
It's like a spinoff.
Well, there's like the last, I would say the last 15-20% of Braveheart is where this movie starts. So at some point, William Wallace, their army was defeated, and he kind of was hiding out in the woods. And so the English king kind of comes in, and he's deciding who's going to own what land and run what kings are going to be, allotted land in Scotland that are now all under English rule.
Right.
And so and then at some point, William Wallace is announced like, oh yeah, he's done. We killed him. We found him. We killed him. And so there's lots of riots after they put up the mutilated body of him and all that kind of William Wallace. And anyways, so that's kind of the premise where it starts off. But then, a lot of the Scottish kings that are now having to collect taxes for the English king, this character is called the Outlaw King because he kind of defies all that and says, no, let's actually, now that I'm king, let's take the country back. And so that's kind of what his whole angle is. So that's really what the whole plot is.
Kills that dude in the church.
Oh, he saw that coming.
Dude, I was like guy was talking shit, and he just like stabbed him and killed him.
Yeah, but puts the knife like right under his head, in front of his throat, like straight up into his brain. I was like, ooh,
yeah. Right. That's gonna leave a mark.
So plot aside, for a Netflix movie, so the first question I have for you is, did this feel like a Netflix movie? And here's why I'm asking, is because this is Netflix's first big push into movies, a la the way that Amazon has started trying to do, and that's where you have A-list celebrity in a movie that's released directly to Netflix. So did this feel like a Netflix movie, or did you feel like you were getting a theatrical movie straight to home on day one?
So I kind of want to start it with my like litmus test for some of these movies. It all goes back to like the Sci-Fi Network in terms of the CGI. Because that's probably like, as far as a big network gets, that's probably the worst you can get. In terms of like how it looks, it just looks cheesy as hell. So I always base a lot of what I see in other like networks. Like I kind of base it on that. So my first test in this film was they brought out this big like catapult thing.
Yeah,
and they launched it like up at this castle, and it looked amazingly real. So
it might even been it looked really good.
Yeah, dude, I was like, whoa. It's like, okay. Like, and that was like in the first like 10 minutes.
Well, that was like a 10-minute shot. The whole sequence was a single shot.
Yep.
Which cool. I'm a sucker for.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, me too. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, so they did all that stuff, and the camera kind of followed these guys around. But then, I mean, like, there's really, really incredible like battle scenes in this movie. I like the movie. I thought it was really cool. Just kind of like anything historical, and they do it pretty much right. Like, you got me. So it's like, I was totally down for this movie. When you told me about it, I was like, yeah, let's check it out. But it didn't really feel like a Netflix movie. I mean, maybe could have seen it in the theater. It wasn't like steadily paced in terms of the action, like a Braveheart, just to kind of contrast it with something else.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was decent. I mean, there's that one crazy guy who ran into the church and started killing everybody.
The dude with the badass haircut.
Yeah, there's some characters that are cinematic for sure. So it's like you had that guy. And then you had like the love interest, so that was cool. And then you had like the evil king and his like, asshole son. So you had a lot going on in this movie. I definitely recommend it. You'll learn a little bit, and it was cool. I liked it.
So yeah, for me, I like how you talked about your litmus test, and that's kind of like your gauge to see if it's gonna, like, it makes sense. Like, oh, they cut corners. That's what you don't. That's really what you're looking for. Is did you cut corners because you're not getting the publicity and the stuff for it. You're not doing press junkets in the same way that you would. It's very different, kind of advertising and all that kind of stuff. But I would say that there's very little CGI. At least if there was a lot of CGI used, it wasn't very obvious. It was very tasteful how it was done. It was incredibly brutal, which I really appreciated. It was very violent.
Like the horses and stuff, man.
Oh my god, it's very violent. So if you're not used to seeing like sword on skin type of violence, I think the worst one was when they take his brother, they hang him, and then slice open his stomach and all his guts spill out. I was like, ooh, they showed the whole thing. It looks,
like how like how a lot of these guys were killed. Like if you go back and read up on like ancient torture methods, there was one called I think it was drawing and quartering or something like that, where they'd tie all of your limbs to like 4 horses, and then they'd like hit all the horses on the back at the same time and just pull you apart. Just a lot of this stuff is just disgusting.
That's why that might make sense why they showed like Wallace's arm hanging off a statue.
Yeah. I mean, that's how a lot of that happened. So it's like, then you get into the Inquisition and like how all these like torture devices. So, we talked about with the Wild West, it was like kind of brutal out of necessity. And like, but you go even further back to like this is in the 1300s, I believe. I mean, they just got incredibly creative with the way they killed each other, and the way they meted out violence.
Yeah.
And you'll see it in this one too.
It's a good movie. I would strongly recommend it for anybody because it's on Netflix, especially if you like those kinds of films. Do you think that this movie would attract more A-list stars to something like a Netflix? Here's why I'm getting with that is because I think of like, why not? If you're going to pay them, why not? But there's certain actors that, a lot of actors really fool themselves, especially when they get to the A-list, and like do you feel like it's bad on your brand to be on a digital platform like this?
I think if you're smart, you'd go that way because that's the way it's going. I mean, they're sure getting a lot of like people on HBO and like in HBO movies and series. I mean, I think a lot of people in Hollywood are complaining about the low, turnouts to movies, which is true. I mean, there's been a steady decline over the years and just people going to the movies, not only because of the price, but because of the quality sucks. And hopefully Avatar will change all that because there's 4 of them coming out. That might change everything for the movies. But I think if you're smart, right? I had to slip that one in there.
I know.
If you're smart and if you're kind of following the trends and the way things are going, a lot of people have canceled their cable or they've, moved to other platforms where they can kind of pick and choose what they want. And most of that involves Netflix and Amazon and Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't think it would be like stooping lower to do any of that stuff. I think back in the day, like when a big name actor appeared in a TV show, it's like, he's really like, he's really calling it in and he's gone downhill. But I think now it's almost like, with a movie, I think with a TV show versus a movie, it's like, TV show, you're going to be a little more constrained and it's going to be a little more for you to show off your chops, especially if you're under like a severe time crunch. I know both a movie and a TV show, it's a little different, but I think it's just, there's certain differences to the way they're done. Where if you're in a show, it's like, it just seems like you have a lot more time to develop a character. Whereas in a movie, you only have like 2 hours. If you're looking at network movies, it's like if they're pouring a lot of money into these things, you should be jumping on the boat. I think it's smart for these guys to do that and to star in these movies. I think it's anything, not stupid any lower. At least that's what I think.
I think it definitely takes. I agree. It takes a lot more to develop characters and just show like your full range in regards to a TV series. Whereas in a movie, I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot of character development in there.
No,
You can, but it's not as much. It just doesn't
Yeah.
compete the same way.
Right.
So yeah, I would agree that I think it's a good idea for other people to do. I don't think it hurts people's brand, to be honest, in my opinion.
No.
I think that your audience is going to go where they're going to want to see you. So if Brad Pitt or Leo came out with something straight on Netflix, it's going to be great for Netflix, and
Yeah.
they're just going to have more and more people see them that don't go and pay for it. It's like expand your audience.
Well, I think the people right now leading the charge are actually the directors, because you have David Fincher did the Manhunter show, right?
Yeah.
And Scorsese actually has a movie coming out on Netflix here pretty soon. So, I mean, you have like big name directors and writers kind of like jumping over to these networks and seeing it. I mean, not as profitable, but maybe they're being given a little bit more leeway that the studios don't give them. Like I think some of the shows on FX we've seen, like Fargo and Legion, I consider those among my favorite shows. And it seems to me that those networks give their shows a lot more creative freedom than like the big studios would. So I think that might be another reason why, or why other artists should go to these kind of platforms, because they get a lot more freedom and range and ability not to have to answer to like 20 producers or, have to keep it under a certain amount and all that stuff. I think they're allowed a little bit more leeway in what they can do and portray.
And I don't think you necessarily need to do a whole lot of marketing either if you're already kind of appealing to your existing subscribers. I mean, you don't need to put billboards up around town that says that you can only on Netflix. I think it's great branding for them. But when you advertise a movie like that and you're someone like Netflix, it's kind of 50-50. You're advertising your service and you're advertising the kind of shows that you have. And that's where I think there's a lot of strength within that.
Netflix is huge. I mean, it's just so, my internet was like suffering in the last couple of days because of, I guess they were saying because of the fires and a lot of the networks were down. It's better. It's good now, but it's like nothing else was working for me but Netflix. So it's like Netflix like clearly dominated the bandwidth in the market. Like you're going to get it no matter what. And, they're huge. They're not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, any last words on that one?
No, I think that's, again, definitely recommended. There's a couple more I want to check out, on that network, like in terms of movies. So there's one called Apostle I want to see. I heard it's
Yes, I have that one saved with Dan
Stevens.
Dan Stevens, our boy.
Yeah, directed by the director of The Raid. It's supposed to be pretty crazy. So
the trailer looks just horrific, man.
Yeah.
It looks brutal.
Yeah.
That one looks great. So I think we might have to do that for our next one. That movie looks cool.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. And then
yeah.
I mean, I had a couple other news things on here that caught my eye. But this was just one story I was going to ask you. And this kind of reminds me of like the stuff of so did you hear about that asteroid that was picked up, that weird asteroid that was kind of picked up by scientists? It's like a large cigar-shaped object that's in our solar system.
You try to be funny right now?
No, I'm dead serious.
Like it's some plot from a movie. I don't know.
It's so here's the premise. It's OUMUA. So Oumuamua.
More vowels, please.
Yeah. It's the only interstellar object we've ever seen in our solar system. And so people are trying to figure out what the hell it is. And Harvard scientists...
Well, it's a Uma.
Yeah, it sounds like a Hawaiian fish, but the humu nuba apu fish. That's the state fish.
Right. Yeah.
So Harvard scientists speculate that it could be an alien spaceship. And this is from Harvard. Well, bear with me. So like in space movies, like Interstellar, I think maybe had it. I know Sunshine had it, where they have like the giant parachutes, and it's like solar powered and it like propels you through the things through space.
Yeah.
And they think it's a piece of that from somebody else's spaceship or something like that. That maybe have come here from, came here from another solar system, basically, is what they're saying. Like, this showed up out of nowhere, and people are like, whoa, what's going on? It's moving more than 70,000 miles per hour. And it was so fast, it couldn't be captured by the sun's gravity.
Wow.
And then it went way off course for where they projected it should have been for it just to being like a regular object. So it deviated off course significantly. So they're really confused by it.
Uma. I'm just
I know
with that name right now.
So there's something affecting its motion other than gravitational forces from the sun and stuff, which is what they can't really figure it out. So it's very mysterious and fascinating regardless. But that is one of the things is they think that it could have been something from alien life or some other intelligent life or a part of something. They can't really quite figure it out, which is pretty unlikely.
James Cameron shot something up there to promote Avatar.
I know. But it just sounds like
so much money. It's just like, come on, dude.
It just sounds like it's like right out of Hollywood. Like, we see an object, that's why I thought it was kind of funny to talk about.
Yeah, I like that one. I found one too, like, because I know you kind of started a weird news trend. I found this other one, so I jumped right on that one. There's a guy in the Netherlands. He's 69 years old, and he's asked a court, and he's petitioned the court to approve his request.
Is this the Tinder guy?
For a new birthday that officially would make him 49. So the best part of it is, it says his legal appeal is consistent with other forms of personal transformation that are gaining acceptance and government recognition in the Netherlands and around the world, which makes no sense. He states that with this freedom of choice of name, freeness of gender, I want to have my own age, I want to control myself, but then it does go back to Tinder.
Yeah.
If I go on Tinder, then I get women from 68, 69 when women are there. He says, I want to be myself, so don't force me to lie.
Oh my goodness.
And this is straight out of a movie too. I could see this being like a courtroom drama.
So basically the guy's motivation is he wants to have a lowered birth date on Tinder.
Yeah. I mean, he has all these other like justifications. He says like, well, when I was a kid, I was racially abused because of my appearance. And he's like a TV personality, I guess. He said he started an acting career. He found it easier to pursue non-white parts. He took on an African middle name. And then he some black artists or some, in his country were complaining because he was given a paid traineeship in a program designed to give more people of color a chance for careers in the arts. So it's like it kind of parallels that Rachel Dolezal thing. White woman who identifies herself as black and then says all this other stuff. But this guy says, I don't know where he's coming from. Yeah, he says that he'd be happy to forfeit his monthly pension over the 20 years he wants shaved off his age. So like he's gonna owe back pay, I guess, for all that stuff.
You will.
Yeah.
Well,
he says now I'm an old man. Now I'm an old man. I have to save my money to give to my kids so that they can live. And if I have that age again, I have hope again. I'm new again. The whole future is there for me again. On Tinder.
Yeah.
Not on, I added that last part in, but
on Tinder.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. Great, huh?
Some people, man.
Yeah, right.
All right. I think we're done here.
Yeah. One last thing I want to end with. The new Avengers, 3 hours long.
All right. I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'll take it.
All right, boy.
All right, Dan. Yeah, boy.
It's all right, boy.
It's all right.
God damn it, get out of the way.
Yeah, God damn it.
That's the best part.
That guy.
My thing in that game is like just all the people like, hurry up.
Everyone's so bothered and you just like brush against them and they're
Yeah. Oh my God, that man.
I know. But everyone's insane.
It's like when I drive on the freeway, like you play that game and then you get on the freeway, you're like, hurry up.
Hurry up.
Stuck behind a Prius. Like,
Seriously, calm down, people.
yeah.
Jeez, get out of my way. All right, well, yeah, let's wrap it up. And
Okay.
thanks for stopping by. This was episode 49 of the Harsch Review. Hope you guys had a lot of fun. Anyways, make sure you subscribe to this podcast so you can get free notifications on when the next one's down. And if you want to follow us on social media, head over to Facebook at the Harsch Review, HARCH, or go to theharschreview.com and you can get all the information you need there. That's going to do it for us. We'll be back with episode 50. Nothing special, just another episode. All right. Big old 50.
All right, boy.
All right, boy. All right, let's call it. My name is Sean.
And my name is Arthur.
Arthur. Yeah. Oh, my name is Sean. That's another guy from the game.
You're right.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.